Whew. Whew. Well, at least that stupid lawn is finally mowed. Is that seriously what you were wearing when mowing the lawn? You, did see me go out in this outfit, Sue. That was before I was aware of what the actual temperature is outside. Do you know what the temperature is? Yes, I am aware of the temperature. I did come inside a few times to get water. Are you okay? Am I okay? Am I okay? Not only did I just read this very atrociously awful story, I then come downstairs to see you in that bloody outfit when it's 88 degrees out and you look bloody winded. What the bloody hell were you thinking? You could have waited. You could have bloody waited. I asked you to wait, but no, you didn't bloody listen. And it looks like you're on the verge of passing out. I know I could have waited, but the temperature for the next few days was going to be worse than today, so I figured I would go out now. You figured you would go out now. You figured you would go out now. Well, I think you need to be taught a bloody lesson! Shit. You okay? I heard a bang. Oh, I dozed off. I was reading and I dozed off for some reason. I wasn't really sleeping that good last night. I mean, I thought I got enough sleep, but apparently not. Oh, well, sorry to hear that. Are you going to be okay? Oh, yeah, I'll be fine. It's just because of the heat, sometimes it's hard to sleep. So, this fanfic that you're reviewing, is it any good? Well, I think it's safe to say that it's better than that lovely thing that I read last week. Oh, I guess that's true. Anything's better than what you did last time. Yeah, just if the frickin' creator decides to be a little you-know-what and make you do that again, just be careful, okay? Because you did get pretty riled up with that story. Yes, indeed I did. Meg, about me blowing up at you afterwards, I am really sorry about that. It's okay, Sue. You've already apologized, and there's nothing to apologize for. I can understand why you were annoyed. I probably should have waited a couple of days. But hey, at least I didn't have to mow today. It's supposed to be in the 90s today. Ugh. Tell me about it. I'm already getting all tuckered out in this bloody outfit. I mean, at least this part's breathable. So, what are your plans while I do the review? I'll just probably hang out down here, watch some YouTube, crack open a cold one or something. I'll leave some in the fridge for you if you want one after the review, okay? Okay. I appreciate that. Thanks. Well, I better get to it. All right, well, wish you luck. Thank you. I'll need it. Doesn't have that thing anymore. She got rid of it. She wouldn't do that. She would not do that to me again. She wouldn't. Fuck. Oh, bloody was bloody. It's over with. I mean, at least the other story's not that bad. It's just this first one's a... Why are you on? Why? You were spying again, weren't you? Yes, you were. God knows why. It wasn't like we were having a riveting conversation downstairs. Unless you guys were watching Meg while she sleeps. That's just creepy. Don't do that. Whatever. I suppose I'll watch this episode back after I post it to see why exactly you were spying on us. And I don't know, maybe you weren't spying, maybe I just had the camera on, but I could have sworn I did not have it on. I digress. So, you probably already noticed the title of today's episode. Looney Tunes, double feature. Ha 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 ha. It's actually about Sylvester and Tweety, so it should have been called the Sylvester and Tweety double feature, but it's in the Looney Tunes fandom, so it's Looney Tunes, and they are Looney Tunes. So, 2 one-shots, both rated M. So, the first story, that's the one that I don't fancy. I mean, neither story were written badly. It was just the first story, well, let's just say the first story suffers from the author, I don't like the source material, so I'm going to write a story about the thing I don't like. Why do that? Don't do that. If you don't like something, don't write a fanfic about it. Unless you're going to improve on it. And this isn't improving, this is literally, okay. Let me just read the summary of the story so you get an idea what the story is about. After the events of Sylvester and Tweety mysteries, Granny, Hector, and Tweety never faced consequences for how badly they treated Sylvester until now. So yes, one of those stories. This is called Story of Sylvain. Although I think it's supposed to be Sullivan. Let me just scroll down to the bottom when they mention the name. Okay, I guess his name is supposed to be Sylvain. Is that an actual name, Sylvain? I guess it might be. So yes, this is rated M, like I already said. It's horror suspense. The characters featured are Sylvester, Tweety, and Grandma, but it's actually Hector and this character from another show called Auga. It's over 2,000 words, it has 3 reviews, and it was published back in November of 2021. So the story opens up with Granny, Hector, Tweety, and Auga telling Sylvester that they're going to go pick crops in the orchard that's outside of the house. And they want Sylvester to stay and keep an eye on the house while they're gone. And to keep an eye on any trick-or-treaters that come wandering by because, you know, they want candy. It takes place on Halloween, obviously. So they go to the orchard. And Auga's a bit nervous because he's telling them that the orchard is giving him very bad feelings. And that the cemetery next door has a legend that zombies come out of the orchard 1 minute past 11 p.m. every Halloween night. So why the heck are they going out around 11 o'clock to go take care of the crops when you do that during the day? Why would you do that during the bewitching hour? And also, who the hell trick-or-treats at 11 p.m. at night? I mean, in this country anyway, in the United States of America, they do it like between 5 p.m. and then they end up stopping like between 7 and 8. They don't do anything past 8 unless it's for the adults. But I digress. So, you know, as cliche as the story is, the zombies do eventually come out, or they might come out. So the others are thinking, you know, Hector, Tweety, and Granny are thinking that they can use Sylvester as a means to lure the zombies out, just to make sure that there's actually no zombies. And, you know, Auga is disgusted by this and, you know, flies off. And then, as if on cue, the zombies do show up, and their first victim is Auga. He goes into this great detail about Auga being torn to shreds, and Tweety is very upset because apparently him and Auga are a couple or whatnot. So, you know, he's all upset, but Granny and Hector are like, we need to go back to the house. So they go back to the house, and Granny realizes that she dropped her key and that the door is locked. I don't know why the door is locked, because if Sylvester's supposed to be keeping an eye on trick-or-treaters. But I digress. So they're banging on the door, begging Sylvester to let him in. And, you know, he's about to do it, and then, again, another cliche, he remembers all the times they were awful to him. So he still acts like he's going to unlock the door. But then he decides to go, you know what, never mind, I'm not going to help you after all. And he just tosses the key off into the other room. So the others are all like, oh no, why did you do that? You need to save us. And then it dawns on them why he's not saving them. But before they can apologize, they get torn to shreds, very, very graphically, mind you, by the zombies. And Sylvester is just standing there watching with a blank face. So, in the morning, he decides to gather up their remains and keep their remains in a sack so they can be with him at all times. You know, instead of just doing the sensible thing and burying them. Or, you know, he could have at least cremated them so he could have had their ashes. But no, he's literally carrying around their body parts. And he decides to move away, move out of England, because apparently they live in England, which I guess that makes sense. And he changes his name to Sylvain because his old name gives him bad memories of, you know, what happened to his friends and, you know, how badly he was treated by them. And that's pretty much how the story ended. I know I really rushed the summary of this, but there really wasn't much more to really say. It was just a waste of time story. I mean, it was well written, I will admit it was well written, but it was just bloody pointless and it just made no sense. I don't know. It's like, why bother writing this? I mean, compared to other stories of this nature, it wasn't that bad. I mean, it was pretty graphic about how they were torn up and stuff, but, you know, it wasn't like that Edward story that Meg read years ago, and there's other stories of that vein where it's like, oh, the nice character gets treated badly, so he decides to snap. I mean, this story didn't go with the cliche of Sylvester being the one doing all these horrible things to his old friends. He just pretty much allowed them to die brutal deaths. But I digress. To me, it was just a waste of time reading this. I mean, it was well written, I'll give it that. It was legible, well written. You ignore the typos and the author's note, but the author's note doesn't really count. So it was well written and whatnot, but wasn't really my cup of tea. And again, writing stories about something that you don't even like, to me, is just silly. It's just so bloody silly. Right, so the next story is called Predator and Prey, which I feel like this is the better of the two. This one is also rated M, but I honestly don't think it should have been. So the author of this is Jinx Angel 13. Here's a summary. The cat and canary duo are back to their old tricks again, but when Sylvester loses sight of Tweety in a shady alleyway, the canary ends up in the clutches of a strange, unknown street cat who doesn't quite seem to grasp that Tweety belongs to Sylvester and that absolutely no one messes with the canary but the tuxedo cat himself. So this is saying it's slashing Sylvester and Tweety, but that's also a bit of a misnomer. So it's rated M. It's hurt comfort romance. Again, misnomer. It's hinted, but it's very much a misnomer. Sylvester and Tweety are the characters, obviously. It's over 2,000 words, 4 reviews, and it was originally published in July of 2021, and then it was updated in August of 2021. So here's the author's note. Don't hate me for shipping them, damn it. My mind says I'm ruining my childhood, but I just can't help but think they're cute together. Why do people think abusive relationships are cute? Not to mention the mighty need to make up for their lack of content. Okay. Disclaimer, I don't own Tweety and Sylvester blah blah. The cat in the story belongs to no one because he sucks, and I want no part in owning him. Well, you do own him because you created him. I digress. So, it starts off, classic Sylvester and Tweety shenanigans. Granny had left the house that day, so Sylvester and Tweety decided to go play outside, and by playing outside, I mean they were chasing after each other with their normal antics. Tweety is getting a thrill out of Sylvester chasing him, and he's not afraid of Sylvester. To him, it's a game and stuff, and I guess till Sylvester it's supposed to be a game as well, but he is getting annoyed. So, they're running about, and Tweety decides to go into a alleyway that Granny had told them both they are absolutely forbidden to go into. So Sylvester is out of cat and mouse mode, and he's more like worried about Tweety. Like, oh no, Tweety's in this alley and so am I. I need to find Tweety because if anything happens to Tweety, Granny's going to kill me, and also he's concerned about Tweety. So meanwhile, it jumps to Tweety's point of view, and Tweety at first doesn't realize where he is, so he's all like proud of himself that he outran Sylvester, but then he realizes where he is, and he's like, oh no, this is the forbidden part of town that Granny told us never to go to. And then as if on cue, this voice starts to talk to him. Like, they're being very kind of like creepily seductive, like, oh my, what do we have here? And Tweety's obviously scared. And this cat, it ends up being an alley cat. He grabs Tweety and he starts licking him seductively. It's pretty much implying that in this story, this cat doesn't really want to eat Tweety. I think he wants to eat Tweety eventually, but he wants to do other things to him, which I think implies that he wants to rape him, which I'm not sure how that would work exactly, because it's a cat in a bed. Cat this big, bed this big. That's another reason why this pairing makes absolutely no sense, but whatever. So, he's licking Tweety's throat, and, the bed's, scared out of his wits, and, the street cat's being super scary. He's described as being skinny and orange, and he has, an eye patch, because, yes, all cats wear eye patches. And then, Sylvester shows up, and Sylvester is very pissed. And, Tweety realizes that Sylvester is nearby, so he bites the paw of the cat who has him captive, and he tries to call out to Sylvester, but then, the cat just slams him and ends up knocking him out, and this really pisses off Sylvester. So the two cats exchange words and they start fighting, and then, Tweety wakes up and he's watching Sylvester fighting for him, and he's like horrified but fascinated at the same time. And, the cat, is like, hey, well, I'll let you get away with this time, but next time I'll be back, and I will have that bad one way or another. Even though this is a one-shot, so I don't know if the author ever did a follow-up to this, but I digress. So anyway, Sylvester scolds Tweety for running off, and Tweety's like apologizing, and then Sylvester's like, well, I'm sorry too, I should have kept a better eye on you. And apparently this is what was kind of hinting at them being a couple. Tweety decided to kiss Sylvester on the lips, and then Sylvester kissed him back. And that's pretty much how it's implied that they're a couple. First off, birds don't have lips. And secondly, I'm sorry, no. It's a cat and a bird. Big cat, little bird. Yeah. Nonsensical. I mean, if you want to ship them, I guess, but I don't know. It's just the... I mean, then again, there is the Bee movie, and I never saw the Bee movie, but it was heavily implied that the bee was in love with a human. Okay, then. I guess I've seen more nonsensical pairings than this. But still, this story being rated M, I honestly don't think it should have been. Like, it had some violence, but I'm not sure. I don't think I mean, there was swearing, but I don't recall seeing, like, the F-bomb or anything. So, if anything, this story should have been rated T, not M. I mean, it wasn't a bad story, per se. It wasn't that bad. It was better than the other one. Neither I would recommend, to be honest. I mean, I don't know. This one's the more tame of the two. And at least the author likes the source material, so there's that. The other one was just a waste of time, in my opinion, because it's like, hey, well, I don't like this show, so I'm going to write a story about it, blah-de-blah. And it's like, no. If you don't like something, don't write a fanfic about it unless you're improving the source material. Because to me, you're just wasting time. You're not just wasting your own time, you're wasting other people's time. I just don't get it. I really don't. I just don't. I honestly don't. I honestly don't. Well, thank you all for watching today's episode. If you liked it, please be sure to leave a like and leave a comment. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I would greatly appreciate it. Well, I'll see you all next time. Until then, cheerio.